Hello, hello. Welcome to Friday, crazy as it is. Today is day 97 of the 100-day challenge. And I thought today I would work on my altered book. I'm going to work on the cover. I started this video just a couple minutes ago. And as I was talking, I'm out of breath, sorry. It just ran downstairs. My phone rings, it's my husband. I'm like, what is he calling me for? He's in the backyard. I locked him out. He's like, I don't have my keys and you locked the door. It's a horrible habit I get into when I shut that. The door's open, but the storm door is there. And when I'm here by myself during the day, I just automatically lock it. And I'm in that habit, so I locked him out. I told him I wasn't buying anything to move on down through the neighborhood. But anyway, I decided that I would work on this. I did finish gluing all of my pages. And I don't know at this point if I'll go through, because this was inspired by Rachel at Roxy Creations, and I love what she's doing to hers. I don't know if I'm going to go through mine and do that at this point, or if I'm going to take it page by page. I think, honestly, because I don't know yet how I want to use this. I do know that I'm not going to use it for my Christmas December daily. I've pulled out all sorts of papers. I have stacks around me, blues and greens, some pinks, or, I guess pinks, burgundies, whatever, some black and white, some brown over here, my neutral files laying next to me. I'm just going to collage all different kinds of paper on here. Once it's dry, I may decide maybe to do some stenciling and some more on the front. I don't know at this point what I'm going to do, but I just want to start by doing that. I made a journal like this a long time ago, and I just loved it the way it was. Now this, I was going through a magazine earlier today, and I was really inspired by an artist in there that makes small journals. And that's sort of what gave me the idea, just to start with this, and then maybe I'll take on a couple more of her steps to my cover. So we'll see. I have matte medium. I thought I would use that. I think this will enable me, if I want to stamp or do anything on top of it, that I can. I may be wrong on that, so we'll learn that together. We'll just get started. I set my time, yeah. So I'm just going to put some, it's been a long time since I've been in this. Put some matte medium in there. I thought it might be easier than... And I sanded this book because it had a shiny sort of coat to it. What part of it was left. I really love that. I thought... Chatterbox, that's the name of the book, of course. And I think it's like a series, like something that used to be published, I don't know how many times a year, or maybe once a year. But I just love that because I thought, what a cool name for a journal, the Chatterbox, So, just trying to get my mind here how I might start this. I want to have my colors, and I think I just want to, maybe I should have a ruler out. I'll start with the front. That'll leave me space here to like tear papers. Maybe I should have just torn a bunch of papers first. Well, I'm just going to go for it. That would have required me to be prepared. And for Well, maybe I'll just start with this. I don't want the pieces to be too big. Oop, tore that wrong. I don't know if I already said this or not. I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but I will cover my spine with, I'm sure, some type of fabric. I hope this works. I see bubbles. I'm hoping they go away. Please, bubbles, go away. A lot of this came out of my scrap bin, as you can see. You know what the problem is? I made the mistake of ironing on this mat, even with the towel under it, and it warped this mat, which I have my new one over there. Still haven't broke it out because I feel like, oh, I'm gonna clean really good and then I'll put my new mat out. Well, that hasn't happened. This craft room, if you could see the whole thing, it looks like a bomb went off. It really does. I have stacks of different projects on every surface imaginable. And then this morning, what did I do? I sat here. Well, I guess it's part of the cleanup process when you think about it. The organization part of it anyway. I don't like the way that pink is coming up. We will see. I'm just going to keep going, Sheila. Keep going. I had my follow-up dentist appointment today. And let me tell you what happened on Tuesday when I went. As I mentioned, for a week, I had a tooth that it only hurt when I touched my face. And I honestly thought I have a very bad habit of biting down. I think it's a stress-related thing. And I have no stress in my life at all right now. But during my working years, I did. And I would bite down so hard during the day, not knowing that I was doing it, that, my jaws would hurt at the end of the day. Well, recently I have caught myself in the evening when I'm watching TV. I find myself just biting down really hard. And I've been trying to stop myself. So when this pain began, I assumed it was from me biting down, because when I localized the pain, to one particular tooth, the tooth felt a little bit loose. I was like, gosh, I told my husband, I'm like, I've been biting down and this tooth is loose, So anyway, I thought it was that. So I went about a week because it was uncomfortable, but it was not unbearable. And, a couple days I had to take Advil, just to help. So on Saturday last week, I was like, this is not getting any better. I better call the dentist and have this checked, because this tooth feels loose, that had me concerned. So I called Saturday, and on Saturday, they made me an appointment for today, actually. And, because the lady asked me, is it an emergency? I'm like, I have pain, but it's tolerable. I'm taking Advil, it's tolerable. I said, my concern is something's going on, and I don't want it to become so painful. You know what I mean? So I think he just needs to check it out. So then, between Sunday to Monday morning, I could tell it had worsened. And I was like, I, I can't wait till Friday. You know, I've got to call. I've got to get in because I don't know what's going on at this point. So, I called and they scheduled me for Tuesday. So, thank God on Tuesday, by the time I got there, I was in some pain, you know. And long story short, I had cracked a tooth up through the root. The root was in two pieces, and then the tooth was cracked from the root. So in 3 spots, I had cracked that tooth. And it became infected. And so he told me, as soon as they x-rayed and looked in my mouth and everything, he said, the tooth has to come out. I'm like, I just about died. I'm like, what? Because I'm thinking, you know, root canal, you know, that's bad enough, right? And he says, we have to get rid of this infection. So they put me on antibiotics, but on Tuesday they had to lance my gum to try to drain infection, remove the tooth, and thank God it's towards the back on the side. And then as he was numbing me, because I have a very hard time becoming numb at the dentist, and he doesn't put you out, because I asked him, can you put me out for this? But he doesn't do that. And he told me as he was numbing me, because he has to do it in sort of phases, you know, with me. And he says, this is much more serious than you can imagine. This is much more serious than what you think. And then, you know, he's got his hands in my mouth, he's numbing me, and I'm thinking to myself, what does he mean by that? So, he administered more Novocaine, left the room, you know, to wait 5 minutes to come back in before he did another round of Novocaine. And I was like, what did you mean that this is more serious than what I think, you know, or whatever? And he says, this infection is extremely dangerous. It can go to your brain, infect your brain, go to your heart. He said, this is an extremely dangerous situation right now. I was like, you could have knocked me over. You could have knocked me over. And let me tell you, my teeth get brushed a minimum of 2 times a day and flossed 2 times a day. So it's not like I don't take care of my teeth. I do. So this was mind-blowing to me, you know. So he proceeded to do everything, and, you know, when he was done, I was just like, I was a mental wreck, you know. And he was telling me, you know, what I had to watch for that night. He texted me 2 times that night, checking on, you know, to make sure things were going according to plan, you know what I mean, what to look for, that type of thing. And but as he was going over, you know, what I needed to do that night, he asked me, do you have any questions, you know? And I'm like, I just feel like crying, and I just broke down. I sobbed, and I'm like, I feel so stupid. It's a stupid tooth. But then hearing what he said, and he made it perfectly clear that I was in no way out of the woods. He says, the next 24 to 48 hours is going to tell us, you know what I mean, if we caught this in time. I was terrified. I was terrified. And then that night, I didn't have like, I iced, I did all the things I was told to do. And I had already started, like, on Advil, and I was taking the antibiotic. But, so I was ahead of the pain, if you will. So I never really, once that tooth came out, I've never really felt any more pain. Thank goodness. But anyway, so that's what I've been dealing with. And I've been running fever. And I think the last couple days in my videos, I apologize because I was pushing through is what I was trying to do. And I felt like crap. And I was running fever. Just not myself, you know, not myself at all. But I went today, and he said things look really good, and he feels that I am out of the woods. I'm still on my antibiotics. I'll be on those until through Monday, and then Monday check to see how the swelling is and go from there. But I have an appointment. I have to go 3 weeks with this tooth, with no tooth in that spot, which, thank God we're wearing masks right now, right? It's the only time I would say that. Only time I'm happy that we're doing that. Because I feel like it gives me a false sense of, you know what I mean? Who wants to go around with a tooth missing in their mouth? So it was quite scary. I was supposed to have an endoscopy on Tuesday next week because I'm having another issue of swallowing. And they've decided to postpone that because the dentist wanted it to be postponed a week. He said he would feel comfortable with it, you know, just push it off a week. But then my physician's schedule didn't allow for that. So right now I'm scheduled for early June, and if something comes up before, you know, somebody cancels out or whatever, then they'll contact me. But right now they're all in agreement that, you know, this needs to be addressed first and foremost, because it could create bigger issues for me if they did that and the infection wasn't completely gone. So that's what's been going on with me. And in addition to that, this week our water heater went on the blink, and I didn't put any. Maybe I'll put a piece of this. Yeah. I think that was Tuesday as well. Yeah, that was, it started, I think it started on Monday. And then I think that Tuesday Bill was able to get that resolved. It wasn't the whole water heater. It was some sort of element that, I don't know, I guess that turns the thing on to heat the water or whatever. So he had to order a part. So that came, no, I don't think that came till Wednesday. Tuesday's when we were able to, we had enough hot water for both of us to shower that morning. And then the part was coming in on Wednesday. So we had dealing with that this week. My mouth. So we are glad that this week has come to an end. And I am very thankful that I got the report I did today at the dentist. That was terrifying. I was not going to share all that with you all. But you know what? This is what's been heavy on my mind. when I worked, I had someone that I worked with. He was a driver. And his wife went to the dentist. And later that day she died. And, oh, I just put that right in the book. Oh, well. And I couldn't understand, like, oh my God, something must have happened with the Novocaine or something like that. You know what I mean? And I'll bet you it was this. Because my dentist came directly out to me to tell me that if this infection had gotten that far, you end up in the hospital. I got this turned upside down. On IV antibiotics. And if it gets into the brain, there's no guarantee that they're going to be able to correct that. And way back when that happened to that driver's wife, I won't say their name, but when that happened, I was like, how can that possibly happen? You go to a dentist and then, die, I'll bet you that's what happened. So I share this with you because don't ever, ever, ever wait to go to the dentist, because you never know. And I'll be quite honest, all last week when I thought I was biting down too hard, I had no swelling or anything like that. It was like on Sunday is when I first noticed inside my mouth that the gum above that tooth was starting to get swollen. And then it intensified Sunday into Monday morning. And, Monday morning I called to get in. But do not ever wait, because I'm here to tell you it's a very dangerous situation. And Tuesday, I was a mental case, because it literally terrified me, thinking, what if? And of course that driver's wife was hot and heavy on my mind, thinking, I'll bet you anything that's what happened to her. But today, I feel uncomfortable because I know that tooth isn't there. And until they have that a tooth in its place, I'm not going to be fully comfortable. But as far as my health goes, I feel like, I know that yesterday, in fact, I was doing a video and all of a sudden, I just had to open the window and turn the fan on. I've been breaking out in these sweats. I believe was my fever breaking, because I didn't have fever later. I checked my temperature and my fever was gone. So I think that at that point is when my fever must have broke. So that's been my horrific week. I told Bill, I feel like a freak of nature. How does this happen? How does this happen? Yeah, now, today, got the good news on how much all this is going to cost, even with insurance. But, what are you going to do? Not going to go around without a tooth in my mouth. I told the doctor, I said, sounds to me like you just want a summer home. But I am so thankful that everything came out the way it did today. We have been on pins and needles. My husband, God love him, When I came home Tuesday from the dentist, he had gotten home from work. I come in the house, I'm just bawling. You know, I was a mess. And trying to tell him through tears what's going on, you know. But we are on the mend. Yes, we are. Told my dentist, like, you know, I go for my cleanings twice a year and all that. I'm like, I was never so glad to see him on Tuesday. And I told him, I said, nothing personal. I said, but I was really looking forward to seeing you today. Then once he gave me all that information, I was like, ugh. I had a bad experience once. I don't know. I don't know, probably within the last year, they had numbed me for a deep cleaning, and usually it's my normal dentist that does that numbing process, and a lady dentist numbed me, and I mean, I never felt such pain in all my life. And as soon as she put that needle in, it shot to my ear, and I mean, I literally, tears were rolling down my face. Well, I went through a period of time, a long period of time, I could not open my mouth, like, to eat without, like, almost breaking into tears. And what happened was, I think she hit a nerve or something. And so ever since that, because I've never ever been scared to go to the dentist, ever. And but ever since then, I'm scared to death when they tell me they have to numb me. I'm like, it terrifies me, you know, because I went through that for months. Months. And I told them, nobody else is numbing me except for my doctor, my dentist. I'm not messing with anybody else in there. And I'm sure, you know what I mean? Things like that happen, but my dentist knows. Don't even schedule me if something like that needs done and you're not there to do it, because I will get up and walk out. Not happening to me again. I'm going to bring this down a little bit, just to break things up a little bit. Well, I'm hoping all the wrinkles come out. I don't think I got enough of this under a couple spots here. But maybe it'll dry. Maybe, I'm hoping. I don't know if I can take my... I'm not going to do that. Oh. Okay, I'm going to turn you off real quick and right back on. Okay, so we don't have that much more to do here. Just a little bit. I'm sorry about ranting and raving about that, but for anybody out there that story may help. It was not funny, but yesterday I had my hair appointment, and as bad as I felt yesterday morning, I'm like, I have to get my hair colored and cut, you know. And I thought, well, I gotta wear a mask so my mouth's not gonna show anyway, you know, blah blah blah. So I get there, and I'm waiting. My hairdresser was, you know, finishing up on another client, and one of the other ladies in there, she's talking about a major dental issue she's having, and she's like, oh, you know, going on. I was like, I cannot believe the topic in here today. So I broke down. I'm like, let me tell you something. Do not wait. Get there as fast as you can. Because I'm telling you, that's some scary stuff, you know? Very scary. What color do I want up there? My last piece, maybe a piece of this. Alright. I love this paper, and I don't see where I've used any anywhere. Probably shouldn't have torn it that way. Now the one thing I think I'll be able to do, since I'm using the matte medium, I certainly hope I'm correct. I don't know for sure. Believe me, I'm no expert at this. But I think I should be able, once everything's dry, I should be able to go back and do some inking on this at a minimum. And then I think once I decide what else I'm doing, I'll Mod Podge or put varnish of some sort on it to seal it. But, and you know what? I was just sitting here thinking I'd sort of like this better than that. And it doesn't really matter because we're going to be covering the whole thing, so I can turn it any way I want it. Right? So, that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to let this dry overnight, make a determination of what else I want to do. I have a couple ideas, and from that magazine article that I was reading, I have a couple things I'd like to try. I just don't know. And like, this looks nothing like what they did, but some of the little elements that they did, I might be able to incorporate on my cover. So I'll wait and let this dry and see. So that takes care of Friday. Sorry about that light. I just now noticed that. I will be back tomorrow. And I hope you enjoy your Friday evening. Stay safe. Go to your dentist. And happy crafting, everyone. Thanks so much for coming to my channel. I really do appreciate your support. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.